afternoon, my young and impressionable nuggets. How are you all on this fine evening? I hope you are well. I'm good myself. It's nice and rainy out there, kind of cold, but that's fine. I like that kind of weather. Anywho, where last we left off, I had finally finished this little face. I did a little work on it outside of a video, just to, I don't know, give it some more detail and whatnot. Light's kind of shining in. There we go. Gave it a chin. It's got pretty high cheekbones. The eyes aren't great, but it's not supposed to look particularly realistic. But other than that, though, it's ready. Okay. So what we're going to proceed to do next is, like we did with this one, is we're going to smooth it onto the egg. So, let's see, let me try and get them parallel from one another as best as I can. Yeah, right up there. Right now what I'm doing is I'm just pushing it on there to make sure it kind of sticks in place, and if I can start grafting it into the rest of the clay, I'm going to do that too, without damaging the other side as best as I can. A little bit higher. Yeah, right about there. So I don't know if you noticed on the egg, but I actually removed all the hair structure that I had sculpted onto the other face. And I was looking at it, honestly, and I just felt that it looked super weird and like it didn't really comply with it. And I feel like it was just jeopardizing the shape of the egg itself. So I went ahead and actually trimmed those off with a knife, and I just kind of left it as is. So right now, as you can see, I'm trying to smooth that on to the best of my ability. I don't know why the camera does not want to focus. Maybe it's too close. Maybe it's not close enough. I'm sorry. I'm still trying to figure this out. Let's see. I'm not messing anything up. It's focusing. No, it's not focusing. Everything's super blurry. It focuses on everything in the back just fine, though. I mean, that image is pretty crisp and pretty clear and everything. But this, it's just coming out super blurry. Maybe it could be because of the secondary light source. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, it's focusing on this much better, but everything's really dark now. I think that might be it. Let me see something here. There we go. Oh yeah, much better. That's actually keeping its focus now. I may just record like that from now on. Turn off my table light and use the camera's light on the thing. Because it's like an LED light, you know, so it shines on everything just right without jeopardizing any of the color value or whatever. Okay, see if I can get this part going. It's still a little unfocused. What is up with you, friend? Why are you not focusing? I'm sorry guys. I'm trying to figure this out as best as I can. Because it's been a while since I've done any of this. I don't remember having that issue with any of my previous videos and whatnot. I think it picked it up just fine in my original thing and on my original work. Get a little bit of clay over here. There's kind of a little divot right there. Probably can't see it. But yeah, it's got two faces now. Got, I guess, what could be mildly seen as a much more benevolent face, and then what you could probably tell as a one that's a little bit more malevolent, a little bit more angry. That's the whole point of it all. I'm trying not to screw up any of the detail, because I learned recently that this particular kind of polymer clay that I'm using is not even the hardest variety they have out there. This is, what do they call this? Soft score? No, not soft score. But it was something along those lines. It's actually a much softer derivative of the polymer clay that they have out there. Okay, see, now it's focused. If you can tell, I actually sculpted a neck structure onto this. Makes it look a little bit more graceful. I'm going to do the same with this guy, and that's pretty much what's up next. Yeah, but we're almost coming to a close to our egg saga, and I have a lot of other stuff to do this evening. I know I always say that if this thing gets uploaded, I'll try and make another one later on tonight if it's not too late, and I do legitimately attempt to do that, but it takes a while for these things to sort of upload, and I typically have my family and stuff asking me to do other things and whatnot, so yeah, it's a little on the tough side to try and get 2 videos out in a single day, but perhaps I'll be able to master that, my productivity time and all that, so I can get stuff out a little bit quicker, and what's the word, and have time to make more as well. So right now I'm trying to see if I can develop a bit of a neck structure, and we will attach it to Mr. Grumpy Pants over here. Try and get that centered as best as I can. Anyway, hope you guys are doing good today. I hope the weather is good where you're at, because it's like super cloudy and rainy over here, and of course it's daylight savings time, so it's getting much darker earlier, and yeah, it's not always great. Straighten that if the imagery isn't clear on this thing, I'm always going to be posting like photos and stuff on my Instagram after I'm done, or even between uploads. So, and those always come out pretty clear. So yeah, that's where I get this stuff going. And I will also be posting on my Twitter, whatever. Yeah, I made a Twitter a while back ago. I had one before, but I deleted it after a while because I didn't really see any use for it. So, truth be told, honestly, if I had to rate social media as to which ones I prefer, Facebook and Twitter would most certainly be at the bottom of the list. I only really have Facebook around for getting in contact with people that I maybe haven't talked to in a while, because almost everyone has a Facebook or a Facebook account that they're so connected to. And Twitter, like, no matter what you're into or really what you're posting, there's always going to be some political nonsense being shared. I'm not a political person. I really dislike politics because it's just so exhausting, and people get caught up in stuff that really, they don't have control over. And in recent years, it's just shown like so much division between people, and it's super silly, in my opinion. I dislike politics so damn much. Like, you can have diverse views, I'm not going to judge you for it or anything, but, like, if you allow those views to determine who you do and don't associate with, if you determine who can and can't be in your life, that's ridiculous, you know? That's really ridiculous that you're allowing something like that to drive wedges between you and people that you were once close to. I think that's really stupid. Like, sorry, but I'm not sorry. It's true. That's very stupid. That you allow that you allow some guys in suits and ties and what they say or don't say to navigate and determine who you do and don't associate with if they don't have, like, an opinion similar to yours. That's silly. People are always going to think differently. They're going to have different opinions, and that's really no reason to shut them out of your life, just because they don't see things exactly the way you do. And that's honestly what I've noticed in a lot of individuals, especially around here and in recent years and stuff, and that's just really dumb. I'm not saying not to have your, what's the word, your diversity in thought and opinions and views and things like that. I mean, you're a unique human individual, and you think and process things differently from others, and that's perfectly fine. But, don't let that cause you to drive a rift between you and people you care about, or people that care about you, just because they don't share the same mentality that you do. That's very silly. And it really shows, like, how divided people are and can be, especially in this country. And I know that not a lot of people, maybe you've heard this, maybe you haven't, but in the Bible it says, a house divided itself cannot stand. A house that is divided against itself cannot stand. That's true. Like, that is true in every sense of the word. And the reason being is because everyone is so busy quarreling with one another that rather than work together to make something better, you're not paying attention to the underlying issue. You're not taking care of what you established together. Instead, you're more concerned with what he said and she said and how they're differing from you than working together as a whole to take care of what you have. And that's the underlying problem. That's the underlying issue. And like I said, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have different opinions. But if you allow those opinions to drive that rift between you and other people, if you allow those opinions to drive you apart from others, to, separate you, or to divide people in a country and stuff like that, then that country is going to fall apart. Because nobody is working together anymore. Everyone's just holding the knife up to each other's throat, waiting for someone to say something wrong so they can drag it across their neck, basically. I know it's a really macabre metaphor, but it's borderline true, So, yeah, as you can imagine, I don't really go with conversations about that nonsense. I dislike it for that very reason. I'm not a person who likes conflict. I'm not a person who approves of conflict. I think it's probably one of the most least effective ways to solve a problem, mainly because it's unnecessary. But like when you let it get to that when you let it get to that degree, I'm sorry, but that's sad. That's pathetic. If you're allowing that to just determine and predetermine who you do and don't associate with. Sorry, I know I'm rambling on again. I really need to not do that. I should talk more about the project at hand. This has become more like a personal diary than an actual art channel. I don't like that. I don't like being personal. As usual, this thing is probably not going to have much focus. I'm sorry, guys. I really need to figure out how this thing focuses and doesn't focus, or what's helping it and what's hurting its focus. Other than that, though, if you're wondering what I'm doing now, I'm pretty much sculpting a chin on here so that it doesn't just look like some kind of fleshy face sticking out of the surface of the egg. And I'm just smoothing it on with my ball stylus right now, and my fingers. Remember, your fingers are also a tool, and they can work for you. Yeah. I must admit, though, this is a rather temperamental kind of clay. And adding the chin not only gives this much more personality, but it enhances the intensity of the look on this guy's face. Which is what I'm going for. Just gonna try not to mess up any more detail. Yeah, that looks much more masculine and much more complete than it did before. But yes, that's a little bit of a personal spill for you guys. I don't like this nonsense or anything. It bothers me and tires me out whenever somebody mentions it, because it just does. It's impossible for anyone to be sitting in a room and discuss that without someone like taking it far too seriously and then wanting to, kill somebody across the room for not agreeing with their opinion or whatever. I dislike that so freaking much. Like, I'm not saying I'm going to start to cry or anything if I see two people fighting, but I'm probably going to leave the room. That's nonsense. That's really stupid, I think. Half the time, like 90% of the time, not even politicians are actually doing that, with all due respect, that shit to one another outside of, like, the office or whatever. You know, you got people, like, probably sitting down at a bar, sipping beer, being friendly with one another. It's, you know, but of course the public, on the other hand, is all angry and shit about things they can't even control. I think that's what I find most annoying. And just seeing it everywhere. I'm sorry. I continue to ramble on about that. That's always going to be part of society. I accepted that a long time ago. But, respectfully, if I could live in a world without it all, that'd be a great world to live in, honestly. Okay. I have rambled on long enough. I have done the face. The face is attached. It's got a chin, which makes it look much more cool, by the way. The other face is attached. This one was the first face I did. I don't know if you guys remember. It was not the best. It's not the greatest still, but it's okay. And to some degree, it kind of shows that I have some sort of hidden skill to make different faces. And this is where I shaved off that hairline, because I wanted that. I originally wanted that, but I was looking at it, and it's just, I don't know, it just didn't look right to me. So, yeah. Alright, that's where I'm going to cut it off for tonight, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Sorry if I rambled on too much. I will see you dudes later. Have a good one. Have a good night. Drive safely. Be safe. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys around. Alrighty. Have a good one.